Now then, think of a hot hatchback that has 6 cylinders. Got it? You're probably thinking about the BMW M135i, aren't you? Or perhaps the iconic Volkswagen Golf R32, or maybe even the swivel-eyed lunatic that is the Renault Clio V6. I hate to inform you though, you've forgotten about one. And here it is, the Alfa Romeo 147 GTA. Now, if you had thought of this car, then brownie points for you. Well done. If you don't know about this car, well, you're in for a treat. The place we have to start off with this car is under the bonnet. But I warn you now, this under here is adult content. If you are in a public place, scurry away to somewhere private, and you'll see why in just a moment.
Don't apologize, don't say sorry. No, you wanna get naughty. I'm trying to touch your body, ooh.
See, I warned you, this is adult material. This engine, it deserves an OnlyFans account, doesn't it? More specifically, what you are looking at is a 3.2 litre 24 valve V6 petrol Busso engine. Why is it called Busso? Well, this engine was developed by the late great Giuseppe Busso in the early 70s. Of course, between then and this car, it was developed further, and in this car it produces 250 horsepower along with 300 newton meters of torque. Now granted, by modern standards, for a V6 it doesn't seem that impressive. You can get considerably more out of a 2 litre Honda Civic Type R, but who needs power when you have soul? That's that cliche out of the way. Let's go for a drive. Okay, let's open up the Busso engine. Overtake these cyclists. Oh, a little bit of torque steer to be expected. Oh, that is nice. It's a really smooth delivery. Oh, it's almost like double cream. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, as you can see, I'm now joined by a guest. This is Scott, the owner of the car, and the legend that has chucked me the keys for his prized possession. I'll be honest with you, when I contacted him on Instagram, I was expecting a big fat no, but no, he's been very courteous in letting me have a drive in his car, and I'm very, very grateful. I've been looking forward to this for a very, very long time. Now, as I mentioned, lovely. As I mentioned, 250 horsepower, 300 newton meters of torque. In today's world, that doesn't seem that competitive. Let's be honest, with the right level of tuning, you can get a similar amount from a Ford Fiesta ST. But don't forget, this car is 20 years old this year. I know the number plate is 02, but this car was actually produced in 2005, meaning this was one of the last 147 GTAs to roll off the production line. And Scott, you told me something very interesting off camera, that the Busso engine in this, it stopped development about a week before Giuseppe Busso passed away.
Yeah, that's right. He developed it in the 70s right through to 2005, and then they stopped making these in December 31st, 2005. It went to the GM engines after that.
Yeah.
And he passed away about a week or two later. So he saw all of the development of his engine, which is nice.
That is really good to see it from start to finish. That's quite the achievement. And the word legendary gets banded around far too much in my opinion, but in my opinion, this is a legendary. A legendary engine, and the traction control flicked on there.
Even in the dry.
Even in the dry. Beautiful roads today, beautiful weather. And I remember Clarkson saying when he drove this on his DVD all the way back in 2003 that the traction control in this car must have been, this is paraphrasing, but the traction control must have been the most overworked electronic device since they allowed calculators in school.
The traction control must be the most overworked electronic device since they allowed calculators in school exams.
And I love that line, and yeah, it's ringing true.
Yeah.
The traction control is earning its money, even though this car is fitted with a limited slip differential. So I'm going to hand over to Scott to talk more about the diff, because you know a bit more about it because it's your car and you had it fitted. So it's not a Quaife diff, is it?
No, so they came with an open diff at the factory, and as you know, they're all over the place with torque steer and everything. So that's what Jeremy Clarkson drove it. But this one's got the Q2 diff, so it's actually the Alfa Romeo diff. They developed it for some of the 147s. I think they did a diesel one with the Q2 diff. So owners either put the Q2 or the Quaife one on it. So yeah, this has got the Alfa one.
Which is regarded to be the better one. Obviously, Quaife has got a very strong reputation.
I think the Quaife one is supposed to be a better diff.
Yeah.
But some people like it, the originality of having the Alfa Romeo one on there. So and it might have been a cost issue as well. I think these were quite good value because the rumours that Alfa realised their mistake with the open diff, so they did a deal on the Q2 diff, so you can get them at a good price.
Yeah.
To retrofit to the cars when they were new. So yeah, this one's got the Q2 diff, which seems to work pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, so far, granted, I've only driven the car a few yards or so, and because it's a nice day, there's lots of cars around, therefore there is a bit of traffic to contend with, but I don't care. I don't care, because I've got a 3.2 litre V6 under my right foot. Well, not literally, but you get what I mean, metaphorically. So, yeah, as I mentioned, 6.3 seconds to 0 to 60, or 0 to 62. Yeah, pretty impressive. And with this being naturally aspirated, one of the benefits of that is the throttle response. There's no lag, you're not waiting for things. As soon as you just poke the throttle, mind the pothole, as soon as you just poke the throttle, this thing is willing to go. And again, to hark back to what Clarkson said about this car, he said it's like walking a small dog. And I do kind of get that sense. It's just really eager to go. It's like Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
It's just, let me at him, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So this has the 6-speed manual, but this was also available with the automated manual, which was called the Silly Speed, often referred to as the Silly Speed because, yeah, when they broke, they were eye-wateringly expensive to fix. Now, I think in a car like this, it has to be the 6-speed manual because it's all about the involvement, being part of the machine, part of the process, and it's just so much more emotive. Have you experienced a Silly Speed? What are they like?
I had one. I had a Fiat Stilo Abarth back in 2004 with a pedal shift Silly Speed. Back then, it was quite a new system, so it was quite good and it was quite smooth. But since then, I've had an i30N DCT and it's worlds apart. So now it would feel quite clunky, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to that. So I did like it at the time, but this car had to be the manual for me.
It's got to be. It's got to be. The fact that Alfa even offered the Silly Speed just seems a bit bonkers to me, but there are some out there who would want to perhaps have the auto option, albeit an automated manual.
It was their F1 technology at the time, wasn't it? They had it in the Rarity 355.
Yeah.
So it was like a flagship gearbox, so they offered it for that, I think. But yeah, it probably works quite well, but I just like the manual in this.
Yeah, the 6-speed manual, it's got quite a nice change to it, it's got quite a nice weight to it. I think, if I'm being really pernickety, I'd want a shorter throw, but you know what, it's pleasing enough, and you have to remember this car is 20 years old, so yeah, it's not going to be the tightest of changes, but it's still pretty robust. The gear lever falls nicely into the hand, and the gear changes, yeah, they are pleasant.
They had a gearbox service about 5 years ago, so stripped down and so to keep it nice.
The ride is predictably firm, but I would say, granted these roads are quite nice and smooth, but the ride isn't quite as firm as I was expecting. I was expecting a bit of a bone crasher. What is it? Quite firm in town?
It's quite firm. It's a little bit jarring when you go over potholes and things.
Yeah.
Which I try not to do. But,
well, no, of course not.
It's, again, for the age of the car, it's pretty good. It hasn't got any fancy dampers or anything on this one. A lot of people put aftermarket springs and dampers on them to improve things.
No, it rides quite smoothly, actually.
Yeah, I think
it's surprising.
And the ride height's about right for me as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise it scrapes on everything.
Yeah, and we don't want that. And to have this noise, this theatre, this drama in a hatchback it just feels really special. And it's somewhat amazing. You don't see more of these on the road. Granted, I imagine not many were produced or brought to the UK.
Yeah, expensive to maintain, but worth it.
Yeah. Now, let's tackle the elephant in the room, shall we? Reliability, good sir. What's it like?
Well, I haven't had it too long, but it's been perfectly reliable. All the stuff I've done to it has been mechanical upgrades, and I changed the clutch.
Well, hang on. Is there any wood in here we can touch?
Yeah, that's
touch
the
wood.
point.
Touch wood.
I did look into it quite a lot before I bought it, and the general consensus are they're fairly reliable. Electrical glitches here and there, you might have a problem with the aircon or electric window or something like that, but the engine and drivetrain itself, as long as it's maintained and serviced,
I'll be honest with you,
robust.
I'll be honest with you, Scott, an Italian car with dodgy electrics, I don't believe you. Don't believe you. One thing I'm impressed by is the fact that this is a 2005 car, 20 years old, yet you've got heated seats, you've got the Bose sound system. It's a pretty tidy specification.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, for the age of the car. Like I said, I upgraded the stereo from the standard CD player just because it's just too dated.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to modify too much.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
You want to try and keep it period correct, don't you?
Yeah, original interior, everything, so it's been well looked after.
Through the corners, it's pretty flat. Again, to go back to what Clarkson said, he was quite harsh on the handling. He also said the steering was too light, and yeah, I would like the steering to be a little bit heavier. But having said that, that's my own personal opinion. I quite like heavy steering, but it's not. I wouldn't go so far to say it's too light.
No, I quite like the steering feel.
Yeah.
And compared to lots of modern cars, have the electric assisted steering and things, it feels quite nice.
Another thing I'm quite surprised by, the fact that it's of this age and Italian, it feels quite robust. There's nothing that feels worn or sloppy or tired. There's no rattles.
No, the build quality in these is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it feels like a solid product. If I got in this not knowing this car was 20 years old, I know the interior slightly gives it away, but my point is, this doesn't drive like a car that's 20 years old.
No.
It still feels modern, relevant, and flipping quick.
Yeah, it's just that noise.
Oh, it's just so nice. And it's not too much.
I think this the power for the chassis is about right. You wouldn't really want any more. I think it's about right for.
And the noise, I'd say, is just about right. You get enough, but it's not overbearing. So I imagine on a longer journey, this is actually quite a civilised companion.
Yeah, because it's 6th gear, 70, you're doing like 1800 RPM or whatever, so it's nice and smooth and quiet on the cruise. This has got an auto delta exhaust, so it's got a custom manifold with front cap delete, so it's got a bit more free flowing, and it's a nice burble. But
another Alfa.
Nice. Yeah, look at that.
I think he did give us away, but I was too slow to react.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen
was that an old Julia?
That's old Julia, the original Julia's. Yeah,
very 70s colour.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice though.
Lovely.
So I mentioned the power. How much power is this particular car putting
It hasn't
out?
been tuned or anything,
Okay.
so it's a bit more free flowing. It might be putting out a few more horsepower, but it's at the standard 250, 255, something like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it dynoed at some point just to see, because the engine's been fully serviced and had a stripped down and rebuilt. It doesn't use any oil. It gives good fuel economy, so it's running really well. So
it feels more powerful than 250.
Yeah, it does, but that might just be. Don't forget this is quite light, because modern hatchbacks it's probably 300 kilos lighter than a Golf R. So the power to weight is pretty good. It's about 1,300 kilos, so it's actually quite light.
Yeah. Now, one thing I haven't spoken about are the brakes. Again, like the clutch pedal, the brake pedal's got a nice, real meaty feeling. I know I've used the word meaty a few times, but it's just got a nice weight to it. It's rewarding, it's firm. and it really, when you press the pedal, you know you're braking, which sounds like a stupid thing to say, but some cars, the brake pedal, the feeling can be a bit numb, but in this, it's positive. It's a nice positive bite from the brakes, but you've got the uprated brakes, haven't you?
Yeah, another thing they didn't quite get right from the factory. They had 305mm front brakes, and they didn't really do the job. It wasn't going to move.
Beautiful creatures, but they're so dumb. They are the only creature I know that will go, oh, a car, I'm going to run towards that.
Yeah.
Like, no, run away from the car.
Don't really want that stuck in the grill.
No, exactly.
So this one's got the 330mm upgrade with the Wembos, so a bit more bite.
Now, we've spoken about reliability, which, much to your surprise watching, is actually pretty good, but it's the maintenance, isn't it, where you get a bit stung.
Yeah, they're not cheap to maintain, they're difficult to work on, nobody wants to touch them, they're taken to a specialist. Obviously you've got the belts every 5 years, which is, depending where you're going, about 1,800 quid at the moment, I think, for that service.
Yeah.
I had the clutch done, which was 7 hours later, that was quite expensive, but of course that's a sort of once in a lifetime thing, the clutch, so once that's done, hopefully it won't be too bad. Regular servicing.
Oh, there definitely torque steer there.
These roads are a bit cambered. I noticed that with my i30N, it used to pull left and right on them because the camber of the road. So that does make it a bit worse.
It's almost like the chassis got a bit of an ADHD. Like, no, I want to go there. No, I want to go there. No, I want to go there.
Yeah.
I had pretty high expectations for this, and I'm pleased to say they've been met.
That's good.
This is definitely a car I can tick off my bucket list, because I've been intrigued by this car for so many years, particularly mostly after watching the Clarkson video. And yeah, I don't recall ever seeing one in the wild on the road. I may have spotted one at a car show, but I've never spotted one on the road.
No, I want to wave to somebody, but I never see any.
No. I'm guessing you're part of a Facebook group or an owners club. Yeah,
we're joining the owners groups online and the Alfa Romeo owners club as well. So hopefully go to, because I only had it since last summer, so I've spent the winter doing a few things to make it up to scratch. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to going to some shows and some meets this year. Hopefully meet people.
I'm guessing the UK 147 GTA owners club is quite small. Was it you and five other people?
Yeah, not that many. Yeah. I think there are more 156s. GTAs around than the 147s, I think. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I've seen 156 GTA.
I've seen a few of those. I saw a few in the car park at Goodwood Festival of Speed last year.
Yeah. I've not been to Festival of Speed in ages.
Yeah, it's a good day out.
Well, last time I went was before COVID, so that tells you how long it's been. Yeah, it's definitely exceeded my expectations. It handles better than I was expecting. It feels more powerful than I was expecting. It's a real punchy little car. It feels like you're driving it feels like you're driving a bigger car than you actually are. Because of the size and displacement of the engine and the way how it performs. Genuinely, I keep forgetting I'm driving a hatchback. It feels like I'm driving a more grown-up car. Not that a hatchback isn't grown up, but it feels like a larger car.
Yeah, it feels like an engine that should be in a luxury saloon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it feels like I'm driving a sports saloon as opposed to a hatchback.
Yeah.
But you look at this somewhat stubby shape and go, nope, it's definitely a hatchback.
Nice and flexible because you can leave it in 6th gear at like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So if you're just poodling along, loads of torque.
It is quite torque. I've probably been changing gears more than I actually need to.
Well, it's nice to change gear along.
It is, yeah.
If you're feeling lazy, you can just leave it in 6th and slow. Yeah, the motorway when the traffic's
got a nice change.
Yeah, it's not too bad. They do vary apparently. Some of them can be a bit notchy. Apparently, I read on the forums that some of the gear changes can be a little bit notchy, but this one's got a nice gear change.
I suppose it depends on how well the car's been maintained.
I think so, yeah.
Has been driven. If you've got someone that's been doing lots of traffic like Grand Prix, so bang, straight into gear.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I imagine many of the owners of this car wouldn't treat it in that way anyway. I think this is a hot hatchback that definitely commands respect.
Yeah.
You need to look after it. You need to treat it with respect, and it will treat you with respect.
Yeah.
Apart from when it wants to torque steer towards the hedge, but,
Yeah.
but a limited slip diff fixes that issue. So that's my top tip there. Get a limited slip
Yeah,
diff.
if you've got one of these, I don't think there are many out there that haven't got the diff fitted anymore.
Oh, really?
I think
Yeah.
everyone's done it, apart from there are a few out there that might be factory original,
But this car, it's the mob boss of hot hatches. It demands respect.
yes, that's true. Definitely.
And you made me an offer that I couldn't refuse when you offered me the chance to drive it. But it's been sensational. Genuinely, I could just spend the rest of the day driving this, but I do need to think about your fuel. So we will conclude the video very shortly. As much as I really don't want to, I'm really enjoying this, genuinely. I'm not just saying that because I'm on camera. This has been such a positive experience, and to be honest with you, as bleak as it sounds, it's very, very unlikely that I will experience another 147 GTA. But you know what? I'm happy with that because it makes this experience all the more special.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's been absolutely awesome. So thank you so much, Scott.
No problem. Good day.
He is an Insta, so if you want to ogle over his car, I'm sure you do, because why wouldn't you? Yeah, give him a follow. I'll pop it down here as a caption. I'll also pop it in the video description as well. So one last squirt. Oh, the Busso! Right, just make sure something's coming. That is extremely satisfying. Like I said, a massive thank you to Scott for letting me have a go in his car, because as I said earlier, I thought it was going to be an outright no. So the fact he said yes, I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I was all giddy, running about, flailing my arms. Yeah, please give him a follow on Instagram. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. However, I would be staggered if you have enjoyed watching it as much as I have making it. But if you have, then I'm very happy for you. Guys, if you have an interesting car you want to get featured on the channel, get in touch. I'm on Insta, Facebook. I am on X and TikTok, but I don't really use those that much. Or you can go old school. Drop me an email. Do you remember that? Drop me an email. Yeah, big thank you to Scott. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.